Let's create your lead magnet using the free version of Canva, timestamps below, along with some other helpful links and resources. Now, when it comes to actually creating your lead magnet, the free version of Canva is all you need. Now, if you're not quite sure how to structure your lead magnet or need some ideas on what the heck to make your lead magnet about in the first place, link in the cards in the description to a full-blown guide for ideas, as well as a super deep dive guide on how to actually come up with the structure of your lead magnet and what to actually put in it. I recommend having it in a Google, Word doc, Evernote, OneNote, Notion, whatever you want to use before you dive into Canva, which is what we'll do now. Now, the good news is Canva has a lot of templates. So go ahead and start by coming up here to templates and then clicking on proposals. And you'll get to a page that looks something like this. Of course, the templates are always changing. Don't be afraid if you see the little crown on the template. I'll show you how you can easily use any template, even if you're just on the free plan. And I recommend going through these and just find one that makes sense for you for the cover page, because the cover page is going to be the bane of our existence. It's going to take the longest out of everything that we do. Plus, when you stick around to the end, I'll show you exactly how to make some editable fields and drop-down menus and checklists. So all of that can be done easily. The most important part is finding one of these that's going to work with whatever your vision is for your cover image. So to save us some time, I've gone ahead and looked up a bunch of cover images and modified them. So we'll go through the simple process of how to modify these. Then, of course, we'll go through how to make your frame for your actual content. And finally, we'll go through a full example of exporting the lead magnet and creating some editable fields. So inside of Canva here, I'll go ahead and click on our first one so we can see our canvas. And you can come over here to templates, and then you'll be able to see all of the proposal templates here. So it's the exact same as the first page we were going through. It's a lot harder to find what you're looking for. So as an example here, I've gone ahead and chosen this template here. You can see I have a couple of recently used ones. And all you need to do is swap out your images and your colors and you're good to go, which is exactly what I did here. So you can see that this is the template that I used for this particular page. So we'll go ahead and build it from scratch. So add as new page. So the first thing you're going to want to do is choose your 2 or 3 colors and your 2 or 3 and your 2 fonts. That's it. 2 fonts for your entire lead magnet, 3 colors for your entire lead magnet. And that's all you need to do. I typically just use 2 colors. So in this particular instance, you see I went crazy trying to prepare for this. We'll go ahead and let's just choose this blue for our main one. So you can just click the elements and you'll see up here that some elements have two colors. You'll have a dark and a light. So our primary color is going to be this blue, and then our secondary color will use this turquoise color. So we'll go ahead and skip when I'm done. And just like that, all our colors are magically changed. So that's the first thing you're going to want to do. And I just realized that I forgot to change these colors, so we'll go ahead and do that. Now, you're probably going to go ahead and put your own logo instead of whatever the icon they use here is, but just for example purposes, I'll go ahead and leave it alone. So we'll start by putting our company name here. We're Act Marketing. And then let's just say this is going to be a template, right? And now most of these are going to be premium templates or images. The trick though is changing out the picture. So anytime you see an element that has the Canva watermark on it, it means it is it's a paid element. And so you either pay $1 or you need to find a free one. So the good news is as soon as you take out all the paid elements from this particular template, you can use it without having to pay for it. So I'm pretty sure this is a premium image. So all we need to do is come over here to elements, and I don't want shapes and lines. And let's say this is going to be about marketing, right? So I'll search for marketing here and then go to photos. And what I used to be able to do, and this literally like changed the day I recorded this, literally one of the cuts, it went away. But you used to be able to select so you only see free images, although Canva seems to really want money now, and so they're going to waste our time making us scroll through. So what you have to do is choose an image that does not have this little crown next to it. So you'll see some of these images don't have a crown at the bottom, and those are the ones that we can use for free. So let's just go ahead for time purposes. I'm going to go ahead and use this one. So we'll click and drag it over, and it will drop in. And then just like that, now we'd be able to download this template that was paid, but now it's free because we don't have any paid elements on it. Now, for the most part, when you have elements that are shapes like this, they're going to be free. And most of the time, it's either the icons or the picture that they're charging you for. And so you just take those away and now you can use the template. And then of course, we'd go through and we'd go ahead and change the rest of the text here to match whatever our company or business is. And so that's really all there is to it, to the cover page, which is why I recommend looking for a template like one of these that seems to have enough elements that you like, and then just change the colors, change the fonts to whatever you need it. Again, only 2 fonts, and then just drop in an image. So as one more example before we dive into our content frame here, this is another template that I decided to modify. And so let's say instead of Facebook ads, we were going to make a consulting playbook, right? So we're going to say this consulting business plan here. Of course, that was too big, so we'll just go ahead and bring down that size. And then let's say we want to change the colors and it's going to be orange for some reason. And then of course we need to change our image. So all we'd have to do is come over here to elements and we'll search consulting. And of course we'll find one that doesn't have a little crown in the bottom of it. And we'll just go down here and choose a random one. And by sheer dumb luck, we have one that says business plan. Wow, that actually looks really, really bad. So let's go ahead and scroll back to the top here and we'll just go ahead and choose this one. But obviously you'd want to find a better looking image. Unsplash.com is another great place to go to find free images. They actually do have an integration, but I find just going to Unsplash and searching manually seems to work best. So that does it for your cover page. And again, there are lots of templates here for you to choose from. Just choose one that you like, switch out the icons and images, and you'll be able to use it on the free plan. So that is going to be what takes you the majority of the time when it comes to creating your lead magnet in Canva. So now let's go and talk about your page frame. So this is going to be where you decide what the elements are, the background elements of your pages inside of your lead magnet. That was so silly. Okay, so think of it as creating a frame or a border for each one of the pages inside of your lead magnet. That probably wasn't any better. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out here so you can see a couple of examples. So you can see here I have our page frames. Actually, let's go ahead and delete the one we just made so we can see them all on one page. And so you can see here with your page frame, you're going to want to lay out where you want your page number, if you want a border at the bottom or the top, where you want your section titles to be or the title of the page to be. And so you're just going to make a blank template like one of these ones you're looking at, 8 through 12. And then you just keep duplicating it and then add your content. It's going to make it a heck of a lot easier when it comes to actually creating your lead magnet. And a lot of the design of your lead magnet is just there to support whatever content's in there. So we don't want it to be too overbearing. So I'll go ahead and click on, let's just do the first one. So I could show you how we went ahead and made this. So if I go ahead and add a blank page, we'll come over here to elements. I'll exit out of consulting. We'll click on our shapes. So at the very top, we are going to want some sort of border and we'll use a page number. So I go ahead and make that like that. Then I'll go ahead and grab another one and I will use our accent color. Of course, this is supposed to be this color. You can tell your colors can get really overwhelming. So we'll go ahead and make a little square for our page number here. And then of course, we'll come over to text. We'll choose heading. And then this will be our first page. We're going to want the font size or font color to be white. And then we can go ahead and I'll hit escape a bunch of times. And then we'll be able to go ahead and drag that up, center it in. And just like that, we have our page number. And so of course, then we could go ahead and select another heading. And this is going to be our title for the page. And let's say we're going to want it to be bold. And we'll choose the primary color for that. And then we'll just click and drag that up to the center. And then for the bottom, let's say we're going to want to have our website shown on each page. So we'll go ahead and do this. And then we'll make our URL the accent color here. And then click and drag it down to the center. And then we would probably want to slap our logo on top of it. And let's just say this was our logo for example's sake. Click and drag, center it down, and now we have our page. And once we're happy with how our page frame looks, we can go ahead and duplicate it and then go ahead and have page number 2 here. and I'll just make a couple duplicates just in case I run out, because I have a tendency to go through and then realize I forgot to leave myself a blank page. Although it is pretty easy to get another blank page, right? You just duplicate and delete. Now, when it comes to content, this is the time-consuming part after you figured out your cover page, because there is no way to easily directly import content from a Word doc or another place into Canva. Yes, you are going to have to manually copy and paste everything that you want. So as an example, if we had some text to copy and paste in here, all I've done is created a text element here, and then you'd create the text element, and then you'd paste in all your text, you'd format it, and then you'd create another text element, paste in your text, format it, and then of course you can go ahead and start adding some graphics or images so your lead magnet isn't just a wall of text. It is time consuming. There isn't a way to import anything. I get questions about that all the time. So just as an example, because it would be really boring to watch me copy and paste a bunch of text, here are some examples of what it could look like when you're done copying and pasting all that text. You can see here that it's pretty much a text box for each one of our elements. And then we went ahead and just added a couple of images so it's not a wall of text. And then of course, one of the other things that you want to think about with your own lead magnet is coming up with areas where people can actually input their own information. So I really like using boxes and of course checklists, and even having drop-down menus as possible. I'll show you how to do that in a little bit here. So this is just some examples. Of course, making a table so someone can come in and enter their own information is a really great way to have people actually interact with their lead magnet, so it doesn't just feel like a random PDF guide or ebook, right? So for time purposes here, let's go ahead and jump into an actual demo. So this is our Tag Manager playbook. It is in fact a lead magnet that we provide, and I just went ahead and quickly recreated it inside of Canva. So as a general rule, I like having a cover page, then you have your introduction page, try to keep it as short as possible, and then straight into the template worksheet, guide or whatever it is, where someone's actually going to be interacting. And so if you're creating a template where someone's going to be entering information, we need to create simple boxes so that they can know where to put the information. Wow, really revolutionary, Jason. Okay, here we go. So we'll go ahead and click on Elements, Lines, and Shapes. And then in here, you can see that there are some squares and rectangles that are just an outline. So that's all I used here. Then we click and drag to where we want it. We make it nice and small, and then we click and drag it over. And now we have a place where someone can enter their information. Now, adding that feature, we'll be using a different tool called PDF Escape. So we'll get to that in a moment. But that's how we went ahead and made these pages. And it's just a simple layout so someone can come in, enter their information, save it, and go through their simple process of installing tags. So we won't talk about code because it's really boring, but Tag Manager is something all of us have to deal with as marketers. So let's go ahead and scroll down to the last page here, because you can, because you can include links, external links, but most people aren't going to know that it's an external link unless you tell them to click. And so what I like doing at the end of every lead magnet we have some sort of call to action. Now this is a call to action to another lead magnet, which is a little weird, but just for example purposes, let's pretend this was a paid offer, right? And so we used a couple elements here to make it look like a button for someone to click. And of course, if you are getting bored, you're like, I get this, just show me how to use PDF Escape. Here's the timestamp to skip ahead to that with the editable fields. So all we do here is we will drop in a, nope, not that image, that's wrong. We're gonna go ahead and drop in a square. And for our button, so we'll use a square for our button. I'll go ahead and change the color so it's obvious what we're doing something differently here. And then of course, we're going to make it nice and big because we want it to be very clear that this is a button someone should click. And then what we're going to do is we'll duplicate it, so you can hold Control D on Windows, Command D on Mac to duplicate the element. And then we're going to come up to transparency and bring it down to about 50%. And then we'll make it a little smaller here, and we'll click and drag it to we're going to center it with the main element we have, and then bring it down oh so slightly. And then of course we'll play with it. And it might just be me, I kind of like having this shadow looking element to it. So then we'll go ahead and grab our text. Now it is important we say click here here now. And of course we can't read it because it's randomly there. So we'll say click here now. We'll go ahead and center that, or approximately center it. You get the idea. And then what you want to do before you hyperlink it is we will click and select all three elements, and then we'll come up here to the three little dots, or actually, let's get rid of that. You'll go ahead and click on group, and now this is all one element. And then you can click on the paper clips, and you can go ahead and enter a link. So you can actually now link to different parts of this document, which is really cool if you want to do a table of contents and have people able to link around. I have gotten a lot of questions about that in the past, so that's pretty cool. You can see there are way too many pages in here. But so let's just say we were linking to our main site, so actmarketing.io. In fact, I think our site's still down though, thanks to a hacker, so thanks hacker. But anyway, that would be how we would link to our particular website. And then of course they could go check out your sales page, book a strategy call with you, check out a featured video or blog post, whatever your call to action is. And then I would also go ahead and hyperlink your domain name at the bottom of each page, just in case someone decides to click it. And so hopefully this gives you some ideas on what you can do with your own lead magnet. And that's really the goal here. So as you can see, there are a lot of things you can do with Canva, but in terms of getting your lead magnet done and ready to go, there are only a couple elements and few tweaks that you actually need to use. So now let's go through the process of exporting, creating some editable fields, and then of course, how to actually share our lead magnet. So we'll go ahead and click on share, and I need 26 through 30 here. So we'll go ahead and click on share, and then I'll click on download. Now we do need to make sure we share it as a PDF. Standard or high, I really don't think it matters. I always click for print, even though no one's actually going to print this out. I just like the idea of it being more HD. It's totally not a thing. All right, so we'll scroll down here and I'll just select the last couple of pages for our demo lead magnet, and then I'll click on done, and then we can go ahead and click on download. And when you download, your PDF is ready to go. So if you don't need to have any editable fields and you just want to share it, here's the timestamp to jump to how to actually share. Otherwise, let's go ahead and head over to a free tool called pdfescape.com. So of course, I should go to the home page instead of the login page here. And yes, we'll accept all your cookies, thanks GDPR. And of course, you can go ahead and set up a free account. And the disadvantage of using the free plan is it's not really going to save your changes. So you need to do everything that you want to do in one fell swoop, and then that's it. Unfortunately, if you want to change things in the future, you're going to have to download from Canva again and then do the whole PDF over again. So let's go ahead and use the free online version. And I'll click upload a PDF. We'll choose a file. We'll go ahead and choose the first one here. It'll take a little while to upload. And if it's taking a while, it's not just you. PDF Escape is a little slow, and you'll find that sometimes when you're scrolling through your PDF, you'll find these loading things. Don't worry, it'll load up a few seconds later. And if anyone from PDF Escape is actually watching, you probably want to fix your AdSense since you don't want to be paying to advertise on your own platform. That's probably not a good idea. But anyway, so let's go ahead and go down here. I really like this tool because it's free and it's awesome. So we're going to click on form field here, and then we can select the type. So we have text, paragraph, all these other ones. So the difference between text and paragraph allows people to hit enter and have multiple lines. So I'm going to select text first, click on select, and then we will click and drag. And is it going to be exact? No. If you're a type A personality who really needs things to be right on the line, yes, you're going to spend a lot of time in this. Sorry, there's no better way to line it up. And it will actually stay, the selection that you make will stay with you until you click on disable. So if I click over here, it's going to make a text box, right? And I don't want to do that. So I need to click this yellow bar, disable, and now I can go ahead and select another form field, or I can go ahead and test the form field that I have. So here, that's really small text. And since it's one line, let's bump it up to 16, and we'll just make it a different font style. Now I'm going to go ahead and select this element and delete it because I don't actually need it. Now for these next two, we want people to actually be able to hit enter because there's a lot more space here. So we're going to click form field, we'll click text paragraph, we'll click select, and then we can click and drag approximately. Don't worry, I will not waste your time trying to get this exactly right. And then we'll go here and then I'll go ahead and click on disable. Now you'll notice that the text settings that I changed for this first one has been applied to these other ones as well. So if you really wanted to be OCD and have different sizes and text and fonts, just double check, because it's going to save whatever your previous setting was. Now let's go ahead and go down here. Since I think you probably get it with the text boxes and paragraph, we won't do that. Let's go ahead and do a checkbox. So we can click on form field here, and this time we're going to just select checkbox. Select, and let's say other is going to be a checkbox. And then we want to put a checkbox next on top of Pinterest and on top of LinkedIn. Now obviously you wouldn't do this. I'm just doing it for example purposes, disable. And now someone can come in and check and uncheck on top of these different elements. So as you can see here, when you're designing inside of Canva, you do need to think about ahead of time what you want to be a checkbox, what do you want to be a drop-down field, and a text field, so that when you come into PDF Escape, it's really easy for you to go ahead and make these. Now, finally, let's say we wanted to have a drop-down menu here. So we can click on Form Field, Text, we can click on Drop-Down Menu, and select, and then we'll go ahead and say this is going to be a drop-down menu. And then when we click on this little icon here, we'll be able to put in the field option. We'll just enter a couple of random ones. You can click to allow custom so someone can override. I won't do that for this one. We'll click on OK. And now we have a drop-down list of different options. And so definitely with your drop-down list, go ahead and make the first one, and then I'll click here to disable. And then you can go ahead and actually duplicate it. So we can go ahead and duplicate the object and click and bring it down, and then we can duplicate it again and go ahead and bring it down. Now, there is a disadvantage here. When you duplicate, you can't click and drag to another page, right? So whatever you do on this page is for that page, and you're gonna have to recreate it or redo it if you're doing it on another page. Also, the links, even though they're not showing up here, even though you can't see them, you'll see that this is still linking to the website that we set up inside of Canva. So you don't have to relink here. The links are actually, that you create inside of Canva, are actually saved, and they're not going to be overwritten by using this tool. So, and now that we're all done, we can go ahead and click on save. It's only going to save it for about 24 hours. So you really do need to make sure that you're all set and good to go. And then we'll go ahead and click on download. And once we do, we can go ahead and open it up. And if we scroll down, you'll see that we're actually able to enter in different text. So we can go ahead and type in here, we can type in our different text, and then you'll see here we can hit enter because we chose a paragraph, whereas here you can't hit enter because we only chose text. So coming down here, we have our drop-down menus, so we can go ahead and select leads, and maybe this one's going to be sales, and this one's going to be a landing page, and then we can go ahead and check and uncheck. And as you can see, it works a lot better if you just have a plain text box as opposed to someone checking on top of an element. And so that's all there is to it, to creating your lead magnet. And of course, the link down here is working. So hopefully you got some value out of this video. Go and hit that like button, comment below with any of your lead magnet questions. Now, finally, one of the most common questions I get after creating the thing is, how do you share it? Well, what we like to do is we use Google Workspace. Even if you're using just personal drive, you can go ahead and create a folder for whatever you're sharing. So here we have a folder for our Tag Manager Playbook. And so all you need to do is go ahead and upload the file. So we'll go ahead and upload our new file here. And then you can create a public share link that you can share on your emails or your private Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups or whatever that you're doing. So of course, the first thing we need to do is rename it something good. Of course, good is subjective. I'm just calling it 2.0 here, right? And then all you need to do is go ahead and click on Get Share Link, and then make sure that you change it to anyone with a link can view. So we can go ahead and copy that link now. We can go ahead and open it up in a new tab, and you'll see that this is the link that someone can actually download. So you'll see that because it's in Google Drive, you can't actually make edits. Someone has to physically download this. They'll have their own version, and then they can go ahead and start making their edits. So thank you so much for watching. Sincerely hope you got some value out of this video. You're ready to go creating your lead magnet, making it editable, and of course, sharing it across wherever you're sharing it, probably in your emails to, of course, grow your email list. So speaking of your email list, check out the link in the cards in the description to a full-blown guide to building out a lead magnet funnel so you can actually start generating leads and promoting the lead magnet that you just made. So hit that like button, subscribe for more guides just like this one, and until the next, keep building the business you love.